When people imagine alien oceans and impossible weather, they picture distant exoplanets. But some of the strangest seas and skies we know of are right here, in our own solar system, hidden under ice or buried in crushing pressure. In the next few minutes, we'll take an honest tour of 7 worlds, where water, fuel, and even diamonds behave in ways that sound invented. Some of this is verified, some is still theory. None of it is hype. Let's go looking for water in all the wrong places. We start at Saturn with one of its smallest moons doing something almost unbelievable. Enceladus is only about 500 kilometers across, small enough to fit inside a single country. Yet from cracks near its south pole it launches towering geysers of water vapor and ice hundreds of kilometers up into space. NASA's Cassini spacecraft flew straight through those plumes and tasted them. Inside, it found salt, organic molecules and chemical signs of hydrothermal vents on a seafloor we cannot see, beneath kilometers of ice. On Earth, vents exactly like those are crowded with life. That does not mean Enceladus is alive. That is still open. But it means this tiny frozen moon may hold the ingredients, and it is generous enough to spray them into space where a passing spacecraft could one day catch them. Now travel to Jupiter, to a moon that looks like a cracked white marble, called Europa. Under that shell of ice, perhaps 15 to 25 kilometers thick, lies a global saltwater ocean that could be 100 kilometers deep. That single hidden ocean may hold more water than all of Earth's oceans combined, maybe twice as much. We know it is there because Europa's surface is shockingly young and smooth, its ice visibly shifts, and telescopes have glimpsed possible plumes venting into space. Jupiter's immense gravity flexes the moon, generating heat, which could keep that ocean liquid and even drive vents on its floor. More water than our entire planet, kept warm in the dark for billions of years. Whether anything swims there is still open, and a spacecraft is already on its way to find out. Between Mars and Jupiter in the asteroid belt sits the dwarf planet Ceres, and it surprised everyone. When a spacecraft first approached, it saw brilliant white spots glowing inside a dark crater, so bright they looked almost artificial. For months, nobody knew what they were. The answer turned out to be salt, deposits of sodium carbonate left behind when briny water seeped up from below, and the liquid evaporated into space. That means Ceres hides a reservoir of salty water beneath its crust, and some of it may still be sloshing around today. A little ocean world, hiding in plain sight, in the middle of the asteroid belt. Whether anything could live in that cold brine is still open, but the water itself is verified. Back at Saturn, there is a world where it rains fuel. Titan, Saturn's largest moon, is the only other place we know with stable liquid on its surface, but it is far too cold for water, around minus 179 degrees Celsius. So instead, methane and ethane fall as rain, carve canyons and pool into seas larger than Earth's Great Lakes. In 2005, a probe called Huygens actually landed there and sent back images of a pebbled shoreline under a thick orange haze. Titan has weather, seasons, dunes, rivers, and a dense atmosphere. An eerie mirror of Earth running on the wrong chemistry. Whether some strange form of life could use that liquid instead of water is still genuinely open. Go further out, to Neptune, and the weather turns to jewels. Deep under its blue clouds, the pressure climbs to millions of times Earth's air, and the temperature runs into thousands of degrees, Down there, the methane that gives Neptune its color gets crushed until its carbon atoms lock into pure diamond, which then sinks like hail toward the core. For years, this was only theory. Then physicists fired a shockwave through plastic in a lab and watched real nanodiamonds form for a fraction of a second, exactly as predicted. We have never drilled into Neptune, so the diamond rain itself is still theory. But the chemistry behind it is now verified. An entire sky of falling diamonds in the dark, where no one will ever see them. Now step just outside our solar system, to a kind of world we have no example of at home. Astronomers have found planets, a few times Earth's mass, that may be wrapped in an enormous atmosphere of superheated steam, with no solid ground you could ever stand on. Give a planet far more water than Earth. Move it close enough to its star, and that water never settles into oceans. Instead, it forms a deep, dense, scalding shroud of vapor, possibly thousands of kilometers thick, wrapped around a hot interior. The James Webb Telescope has begun sniffing the air of these planets and finding water vapor. Exactly how these steam worlds work is still theory, but they hint at how many ways there are to build a planet, most of them nothing like our own. We end this tour by coming home and looking ahead. Honestly, our own sun has a death sentence written for the Earth, and we know the timeline. In about 5 billion years it will run out of hydrogen in its core, swell into a red giant, and balloon out past where Mercury and Venus orbit today. Earth might not be swallowed whole, because the dying sun will lose mass and our orbit will drift outward. But that barely matters. Long before the end, in roughly 1 billion years, the sun will simply grow bright enough to boil our oceans away. That is the part almost no one hears. The real deadline for life on Earth is not 5 billion years. It is closer to 1. And after the red giant, the sun won't explode. It will gently shed its outer layers into a glowing nebula and leave behind a white-hot ember. 7 worlds, oceans under ice, seas of fuel, skies of diamond, and a sun with a quiet expiry date, none of it exaggerated. That is the promise here. The real universe is stranger than the clickbait version, and it holds up when you check it. One question before you go. Which of these hidden oceans or impossible skies surprised you most? Tell me below. And if you want the honest version of the cosmos every week, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.